Welcome back. I'm Sally.
And I'm Alex.
And we're Sally and Alex.
And today we're going to be telling you the top 5 things to know before moving to Mexico. Okay, so I guess one of the important things is where to stay, accommodations, once you move. We've stayed in all Airbnb places.
Yeah, so we've stayed in 2 places so far and they've both been Airbnbs. We'll start by saying that we're actually based in Cancun in Mexico, and we found that Airbnbs are the easiest way to go about finding accommodation when it comes to going in a foreign country that you don't know. It's just the easiest and most straightforward when finding a place, really.
Yeah, and obviously on Airbnb they will translate most things to English.
So when we were looking at places on Airbnb, there were so many nice apartments, but most of them were a little bit out of the city in this newly developed area.
Very interesting looking designs, kind of unique and stylish and the ones you like, but they were far away from everything.
Yeah. Because we had a specific thing we were looking for. We didn't want it to be a studio because we do stay in the apartment most of the day, and we wanted to have separate space, like living room and bedroom. And we were also hoping that we could find a place with a pool, and all the places that had swimming pools were far out. But there were a couple that were in the city, and that's the ones we picked. They're gated communities with security.
At the front. You have to wear these wristbands.
I don't wear them because it's ruining my style.
In that aspect, it's nice to know that there is security and you're in a safe part, but also when you come inside this complex, there's a pool here that's in a sort of little park area that they created inside of this place.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. The last place, there was just a common area pool for everyone who lived there.
We actually did an apartment tour, link up there if you want to check it out. And I personally think it was a great deal because you had the security, as we said, they're pretty new in terms of renovation. We also have all the utilities included. We have Wi-Fi, electricity, there's AC, which is kind of important here because it gets really hot.
Yeah, true. And most of the places we found were 2-bedroom apartments. We weren't even looking for 2 beds, but a lot of them fall into the price range on under $1,000 US dollars, which is 20,000 pesos.
Yeah.
But pretty affordable when you take everything into account that you're in Cancun, which is probably one of the most expensive cities to live in Mexico. Yeah, and both places have incredible views.
Oh yeah, we have amazing views, which I love.
Me too.
Oh, the skyline, so nice. So as we said, Airbnb is one of the options. There's a lot of Facebook groups where you could also find apartments. I checked before we came, but I just found it a lot harder to just search for one, and it would be mostly for longer term.
For the Facebook group, sometimes you're not sure, if what they're saying is true, whereas Airbnb, you might run that risk too, but there are so many reviews on the website. Also, they're all being held accountable through the business. So if it ends up not being what it says, you can always report it and all that. So it's a more comfortability that you're actually getting what you're paying for. Airbnb, if you do want to extend at some of these places, you can kind of just do it directly through the people you meet after you stay at the apartment.
Yeah, so this kind of even lowers the price even more because you don't have to pay the fees. I guess the other big thing other than accommodation would be food. What would you say was our experience with food here?
I think one thing people should get used to when you go to Mexico is tacos and more tacos. It's a very huge part of the Mexican culture, and even though I feel like everyone knows that, I don't think they understand to what extent. As when we came here, that's a main thing for most of the places we went. And obviously we were looking for it, but and they have 2 different types. I think corn tortillas might be more popular here, but we prefer the flour tortillas.
Yeah, a lot of tacos. Basically, all of the restaurants just serve tacos.
The grocery stores aren't that different from, I guess, where I'm used to. They have Walmart down here, which is right in line with what they have in the US. Also, they have local grocery stores like Soriano's.
Yeah. So they have these big supermarkets, but they also have small mini marts and these Oxos.
Oxo, yeah, that'd basically be like a 7-Eleven if you're from the US. Sally thinks it's not as cheap as she would have imagined.
I think, yeah, especially like eating out, I think it's a little bit pricey. Especially, I find the tacos pretty small. Tacos are small, right? But like, it's around 25 to 30 pesos, I would say, per taco. And that's like $1, $1.50. It is, listen, okay, it's not, I'm not saying it's expensive, right? But it's very small. I think also because I'm comparing it to Asia, and I find there like for $1 you can get like a huge meal, and everyone who's been to Southeast Asia can relate.
We'd also have to maybe update our cost on the food just because we are in Cancun, so the cost will definitely be higher. We've even noticed a difference in pricing when you go to the hotel zone and eat there compared to just being in downtown Cancun eating here or a local shop or restaurant. They all kind of vary, so maybe if we go to different parts of Mexico or aren't as big as cities, the food will be much cheaper, but I wouldn't expect to be saving that much, especially in the grocery shopping, because Walmart is basically going to be about the same how it is in the States. One of the most fun parts of Mexico might be their transportation. Well, we're first trying to figure out how to get to, where did we go?
We were trying to get to...
Isla Mujeres.
Oh, to the port, yeah, to get the ferry.
To the port. And we looked through this app called Move It, and it wasn't as reliable. So
I was so excited when I saw the app. It was like perfect. Like, you know, you could just put your location, it would tell you the bus, it would tell you the times, everything. I was like, wow, that's like so convenient. But then, yeah, we ended up realizing that it was not actually so accurate. I even once decided to go to the beach by myself, and I was waiting for a bus in one corner until like a bunch of like people came to tell me there's actually, this bus doesn't even go there. There's no bus that goes to the hotel zone from this specific place, even though the app says so. And they were just telling me like bad information, don't look at the app.
But sometimes it does at least give you an idea of maybe some of the buses that used to go there. But the times might be off, but sometimes you can use the information to see what type of bus you should be looking for.
Honestly, the other time it worked. Like we went to the Mercado 28. Like
it worked for that. So just, I guess, do multiple, try to find multiple ways to get to the same place.
Yeah, just ask people which bus goes there. People were always like super friendly, and they always try to help you. They either tell you which bus to take or make sure
not this bus.
to remind you when to get off when you have to get off. So that's been super nice.
And it's also good because even on the bigger buses, you kind of just, if you're close to where you're going, you can just ask them to stop.
That's pretty.
Yeah, and like sometimes if they see on the side, even though it might not be a stop per se, they'll stop. So it kind of runs more as a taxi that just has like places they're gonna go, but if you do see them, you can wave them down, or if you need to get off somewhere and it's not their stop, they'll still stop.
Yeah, that's really nice. And also they're really cheap. They're only like 10 pesos or like 12 for some of them, which is like 50 cents.
Yeah, in the US, so like, you can go pretty far
really cheap.
For just 10 pesos. Also, we've done Uber here, they do have that as well. Uber, I'd say, is pretty cheap. One thing they told us is never to order an Uber if you're inside the hotel zone.
Yeah, they actually don't go there, like hotel zone and airport.
So they can go, they just can't pick you up. You can't
take it from there, yeah. So that's pretty inconvenient. So you have to use like the local taxi service, and they're a lot more expensive. That's one thing. When we arrived at the airport, I had to take a taxi, and the taxi was
Well, I took one directly from the airport, and they were like 50 US
For 5 minutes.
for like a 5-minute trip. 'Cause-
That was crazy.
And then I booked one for her, and that was like a $30 one. But then there's also these buses called ADO, and they're way cheaper.
Yeah, but they take it to like the city center, like the central bus station. But like for example, I arrived like 1 a.m. Like there was no buses, there were no even taxis. Like if you didn't order this one for me, I don't know what I would have done.
Yeah, we also didn't we didn't really know Mexico like that yet. So I think if you're coming for the first time, maybe you just take the hit and pay for a taxi there,
Or just
schedule a
order,
shuttle.
yes, schedule a shuttle. Like that's, I think that's the best option. Like you can just schedule it from before you arrive, and I think it's a pretty good option. At least the one we did. A lot of people that I met also cycle around the city. I think it's also a pretty good option.
I
But
wouldn't do
there's
it
no
personally.
bike lanes.
There's barely any sidewalks,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
It's-
but they do that. In the hotel zone, it would be nice. Like if you live close to the hotel zone, like it's a really nice long stretch where you can cycle. And I think for sure, I personally think for short distance, like just to go to the supermarket, it's nicer if you had a bicycle.
one thing you'll also realize while here in Mexico is that the national language is not English, it is actually Spanish. As much as we like to think that everywhere kind of revolves around the English language, here it really does help to know Spanish and just kind of the basics. I think if you can figure out how to order food or where you're going, like how to get somewhere, or just like how to ask a question, maybe figure out those easy steps so that you understand at least what people are trying to tell you. And also in every day in different scenarios, we come up to people and they might not speak English, but they'll have Google Translate. So if you have a translating app or something, I think that's also good. People tend to understand that you won't
But
speak
Google
that.
Translate is really bad at translating Spanish, which is so surprising. Like it just gives us the randomest translations when we like try to figure out what a word means.
Yeah.
Even though we're in this more touristy area, I find that a lot of the waitresses and waiters and taxi drivers, even seamless conversations, like you can't really have them in English.
Especially if you plan on staying here a long time and not staying in maybe the hotel zone, there's a lot more people that speak just because that is like the mecca for tourists. Not knowing the language is definitely hard, especially when you're trying to meet people, but Sally has found different ways to meet people that I wouldn't have even thought of.
Yeah, one of the things I did was looking at expat groups on Facebook. Yeah, you can then connect, make your own groups based on interests, age groups, where they're from, etc. Another great place to start is also Instagram. Like I usually find people based on hashtags or locations and just engage with them. That's a great place to start as well.
They had a Halloween party and we got to meet a lot of people that were here for like 6 years or 2 years or just came.
There is not really a coffee culture, I would say. There's a few Starbucks, a few local coffee shops, but I wouldn't say it's common to meet a lot of people like that. A lot of places where I've traveled, I like to go and work from a coffee shop. But here, like even the Starbucks, like, I don't know, it was not that many people. Like one of the local coffee shops I went to was super nice, but it was like, I was the only person there. Maybe the most important thing to know about moving to Mexico is that there is so much here. Easy to go to any of to one of the world wonders, Chichen Itza. It's like just a 2-hour drive away. There's a bunch of other pyramids and archaeological sites from the Mayan civilization. So it's like a perfect spot for like a day trip. There's a bunch of cenotes and other nature spots, beaches, islands, you name it, like it's here. It also has like great transportation system with buses, which you can take for really cheap to go to the main cities in the area. I took one to Playa del Carmen and it was just 90 pesos, which is like $5. Like really nice, clean, comfortable bus.
What was the name of the bus? ADL?
ADO,
Yeah.
ADO bus.
Mhm.
Yeah, ADO. The buses are really convenient to go to the main cities, but I would say that if you want to see all of these like small spots, the best thing is to rent a car. We haven't done it yet. I really want to like see how it works, but it just gives you a lot of freedom. And unless you have a car, you can't go and see them because they're an hour drive from like the city. And most of the tours just visit the main ones, but there's hundreds.
And a cenote is like a waterfall type thing?
It's basically like underground water cave.
Here, the COVID restrictions are still pretty much the same as they were throughout 2020. Most places, I'd assume, you still wear masks when you go into grocery stores or stores anywhere, and still when you take public transportations.
They check your temperature everywhere before you enter any shop or restaurant.
Yeah, and the staff are always usually wearing masks.
Always. I haven't honestly
Yeah.
seen one local person without a mask.
Yeah, and we don't know if we're breaking the rules here or not, but like even walking on the streets, a lot of the people we see are still wearing masks like while they're outside. So I don't know if that's a law or not, or people are just like, we're going somewhere where we will need to wear it, so we might as well just wear it 24/7. But it is refreshing to see that no one's like going crazy over having to wear one. Like everyone wears it, the kids. But even though they have restrictions still in place for entering local businesses and stuff, it was pretty easy for us to get here because their travel restrictions aren't as heavy.
If you are vaccinated, you just need your vaccination certificate.
If you are vaccinated, I don't believe you need to test before you go. I did because I have to go through the US, which you did not because you didn't. So they are good with that, so it's really nice that you can just come here. Other places I know are still closed off, so in that case, Mexico is available for most people to travel to right now. And that's our 5 things to know before moving to Mexico. And if you do move to Mexico, hit us up because we do need more friends.
If you think of something that we missed, or if you plan to move here and you're curious about something, feel free to reach out to us or leave a comment below with any questions you may have.
Like this video if you found this information helpful in your travels to Mexico, and subscribe because we're 1 away from 50. Just 1.
Just one.
It could be you. So subscribe now so you never miss another video, and we'll see you in the next one.